Okay, welcome to this go-to meeting. It will be very short and sweet. And today we will talk about Cincinnati and why Cincinnati is synonymous to cash flow, right? So we will be discussing three things in here. Hold on. We will talk about why Cincinnati, is good for cash flow investments. I'd like Paul to discuss that. Who are my Cincinnati cash flow guys? I will introduce them to you guys. So these guys are not gurus. There's not one of those guru seminars where these gurus will spend 45 minutes talking about themselves and then 15 minutes providing you good content or whatever content, right? But this is, like 2 minutes as to who they are and why you should listen to them. And then three turnkey cash flow deals in Cincinnati. So actually four, my mistake, Garrett. So Garrett will talk about that. Please hold your questions to the end. Okay, so if you have questions, do not butt in. Otherwise, this will be a long discussion. So just keep it to the end and you can write it down later so that I don't get distracted, or actually everyone will get distracted if you continue sending messages through GoToMeeting. So hold off on the questions until we're done. We're done, and then lastly, after the Q&A, I will discuss what are the next steps. All right. So why Cincinnati for cash flow? Paul, you want to discuss this?
Yeah, so they can see the chart, right? Can
Yeah, they
see
can
the
see the PowerPoint slide.
yeah. So as you see there, Cincinnati is doing really well with unemployment, 4.5% unemployment. We got a lot of companies moving here. The city has been real active in bringing tax breaks and stuff to bring companies to the area. We already have 10 Fortune 500 companies in the Cincinnati area. You can see some of the bigger companies in the world: P&G, GE, Kroger, uh, Chiquita. I think it's a couple other ones. Um, Forbes ranked Cincinnati number 4 for return on investment on rental properties, and that was about 6 months ago. They did a survey across the country about the return on investment on rental properties, and Cincinnati was number 4, and we're probably maybe going up from there. So that's pretty good. It's easy to get 9 to 11% on cap rates. That we can do that every day, all day. Really good rent for your properties for what your output is on the acquisition price. The city is investing over 150 million in the next few years with developing the areas, the inner city to urban areas. It's a lot of good properties for good prices, and the rents are actually going up. So the cap rates will continue to rise as well because of the rents are going up in the
Right.
inner city.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, what I like about the cap rates is you can get these in good areas like B minus, C plus. I mean, it's easy to get like 11, 12, even 14, 15 cap rates, right? But those are usually in the war zones. Those are
Yeah.
in bad areas. But in Cincinnati, it's kind of unique that even in B and C areas, you get pretty high cap rates. So. All right. Thanks, Paul. And so who are these guys that are, that are going to talk here? So Garrett Stevenson, he has done hundreds of deals in Cincinnati as well as Miami, Florida, and other cities across the US. He told me that he hasn't really counted like how many millions of dollars worth of real estate deals that he has done, but he estimates it's about $15 million worth of deals. He is an expert in acquisitions. When we started back in 2005, when I started training Garrett at that time, that's really, where I focused Garrett on is on acquisitions. And, so he has since develop other skills like in pre-foreclosures, like we have some creative ways to acquire properties and monetize them, acquire foreclosure properties and monetize them. He is good in creative deal making, like he can make money on properties, that he acquires at 100% market value, so, but he will not talk about that today, but so he's a landlord as well, so he know what real cash flow means. What I mean by that is sometimes you get all of these projections, right, from all of these newbie investors. They use a spreadsheet or they use whatever they can find on sites like Bigger Pockets, and then they do their projections. But you know a lot of times those projections don't happen because these are newbies, so you don't know what you don't know. But Garrett himself is a landlord, so he knows what real cash flow means and how to best make those projections, because usually newbie investors forget to factor things like vacancies, repairs and maintenance, and this thing called replacement reserves, right? Like a lot of landlords don't even factor that in, but that's a real cost that happens over time. Paul Glenn, on the other hand, he has done over 600 deals in Cincinnati. He's a licensed real estate agent. He does a lot of owner finance deals, and I owe I guess how Garrett and I survived together with Paul back in 2008 when the market crashed is that Paul figured out a way to make money on what he calls the cheapy properties, right? Cheapies, so I've worked with these two guys since 2005, with Paul since 2006, and so I trust these guys with literally with my life, so I don't do business in any other city other than Chicago unless I have people on the ground that I trust. So I cannot recommend Columbus or Dayton, Ohio right now, so but I can recommend Cincinnati because I have this two, what I call your Cincinnati cash flow guys, Garrett and Paul. All right. So with that, let's jump right in. Unless Garrett, Paul, you want to add something on your background that I missed?
No, I think you pretty much covered it. And one thing I want them to know, we're doing good business. A lot of times when people invest from out of town, they get bad deals, but we're looking to build long-term relationships. So we'll make sure that we give them what we promise. We're going to over-deliver on what we promise. So I want to make sure people clear that, because sometimes when you're not in the market and you invest in a market outside of where you live, it can be a little challenging or a little frightening, but we definitely want to give them exactly what we promise them.
Yep, that's right. That's right. I mean, we don't stay in business that long or, do hundreds and hundreds of deals if we screw people up, right? So yeah, that's a good point. So we're here for long-term relationship, not to make that quick buck, but really that, profitable long-term business relationship. So what I tell people is that being good is a good business strategy, right? Because it makes you stay in business longer, right? So, Garrett, are you ready to discuss these cash flow deals, actual properties to invest in? Garrett, are you on mute? Oh, it says here Garrett is offline.
Oh, did we lose him?
Yeah, not sure if his internet is you know.
Well, we
Well,
can
let's.
go over it. Me and you can go over it.
Yeah, that's true because I'm kind of familiar with this property in Tennessee. So, hold on. All right. Well, let me talk about 1009 Tennessee in Cincinnati, Ohio. So this one is 4 bedrooms. Each of the bedrooms have one, I mean, each of the units have 1 bedrooms. Sorry for that. And it's rented for $450 per month per unit. You can buy this for $90,000. Right now, the market value, based on a 10 cap is 100,000. Okay, so we're giving you a $10,000 discount versus market value. And if you use financing at 5%, which is pretty high as far as interest rates go for multifamily, you can definitely get interest rates that are lower than that. um, and you put 20% down, you can get pretty close to 30% cash on cash return. So what that means for the newbie investors is that, you can get your money back in 3 years, right? Which is cool. So that's a pretty high, return on investment. Let me show you the cash flow, the actual cash flow analysis in here. So I can send everyone who joined, the cash flow analysis, or what I call cash flow analyzer. It says here that Garrett has arrived. Garrett, are you there? Are you back?
Hey,
Garrett?
Wendell, I wanted to add to that. I know
Okay.
Gary's coming back on. I wanted to add to that particular property on Tennessee is in a desirable area, and the rents could easily be moved up to 525
Hmm.
as you switch the tenants out.
Mm-hmm.
So you could easily add another $75 per unit as you switch tenants out.
Nice, nice. All right, Garrett. Garrett is back. So we were
Okay.
discussing Tennessee. Anything that you want to add, as far as this property is concerned?
Yeah, this would be considered a C plus neighborhood. There are other 4 unit properties in the neighborhood. It's right next to a nice little park, close to bus lines. There's never been a problem with ever filling, this property or any of the other properties that are in that area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why the vacancy factor that I use in here is 5%, because it's a desirable area, and renting this is pretty easy. It's good to know from Paul that the rents are actually lower than what's the market rent the actual rents are lower than market rents, right? So we can increase the rent to 525 per unit per month, which is cool.
Yes, rents in the city overall, like Paul was saying before I got kicked out, they're going up everywhere.
Mm, nice, nice. So there is definitely long-term um, opportunity in terms of creating that appreciation, right? Because rents are increasing.
That is correct.
All right. So again, hold your questions until the end. So, but the numbers look great. You're talking about 11 cap, and if you put 20% down at 5% interest, you're talking about almost 30% cash on cash return, which is ridiculous. So, awesome, awesome deal. Um, all right, Garrett, can you talk about Kling, 2934 Kling Avenue?
Okay, that's also in a good area. That's on the west side of Cincinnati, which is an area that is actually all areas inside, Cincinnati, inside the 275 corridor are actually coming up. Rents are that rent is actually good rent for the area, 750 a month for a 2 bedroom. Those tenants have been there long term. They've been there for a couple of years, and they have no desire to leave. They love it over there.
All right. You want to talk about the cash flow analysis?
Okay. Well, on this one, just the maintenance. You really don't. I mean, we put in 5% anyway, but uh, there's not any maintenance that's actually needed. Currently, everything is in in very good condition. We only have for sake of time of the webinar, we only have like one picture up there. We don't want to go through, all the pictures and everything. Um, Excuse me. Taxes are low in the area. I mean, it's a good deal with 8.4% cap rate. It's in a good area. That's a really nice area. And where else can you find a good rental property for less than $60,000? I mean, it's very hard to find unless you want something in a D or F area. And these are definitely not D or F areas, any of these.
Yep, that's right. Cool. Benz, 1075 Benz.
Now, this is a very nice property, and you see we're getting $800 a month out of this. Tenants have been there for, I believe it's 5 years.
Nice.
They have no desire. They have no desire to leave, and this one later could turn into a. They actually want to purchase it. So if someone buys this, they can keep it as a rental property, and then later turn it into a lease option purchase, because the tenants they've been actually working on their credit for the past year or so. It's a nice property, nice neighborhood. It's actually on the west side of town also, just like the previous property, Kling, but it's in a different part of the west side of Cincinnati.
Nice. Cashflow. Garrett.
There's a little lag. Okay, there's a little lag. Now I'm actually on the web, so sorry. Same thing. 8% cap rate. The tenants there, they love this property. Once again, where else are you going to find a good rental property with long-term tenant for 65? This one's actually 65,000. No repairs that are needed. I mean, this is another one that's completely turnkey. You buy it and just collect the rent.
Mm-hmm.
Tenants take care of, cutting the grass, and all the, little things like that. It's a very nice property, nice neighborhood, desirable neighborhood. It is a mixture. It's not like a completely rental neighborhood. They're a mixture of homeowners, long-term homeowners. Because usually in Cincinnati, if you grow up on the west side, you're a West Sider for all your life. So, the people that, that move there and live there, they're there forever. They never leave.
Cool. And if you convert this to rent to own, the cash flow will be way higher, right? Because there's no vacancy factor, there's no management, there's no maintenance, and really there's no replacement reserves either. So right there, it will buy you an additional, like 2,000 plus a month. I mean 2,000 plus a year. So the cash flow becomes, it shoots up from 400 a month to 600 a month if you convert this to rent to own. Cool.
That's correct.
All right, last property. Amarillo.
Okay. Amarillo. Now this one, the picture is not the best picture, because this is we're actually right after it got rehabbed, and so there's grass and stuff that needs to be was in the process of being cut, and some grass that was being planted. But this is in a very desirable area. This is in the northwest section of Cincinnati, which has one of the best school districts in Cincinnati. So people, they move there all the time just because of the school district. Most of the houses in this area, they're pretty much the same. They're usually 3-bed, 1-bath on a slab. Every once in a while you may find, a 4-bed, 1.5-bath on the slab, but this is a 3-bed, 1-bath on the slab. Newly renovated, new tenant that that moves there. This rent actually can go up also. You probably can get about top end maybe 875. But it's a very nice area, big yard, has a garage, a long driveway. Like I said, the school district really what sells this neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And the cash flow. Hey, Garrett, you're coming in and out. Garrett, are you there? All right, so we probably lost Garrett. Not sure what happened there, Garrett, but as Garrett said, yeah, it's good school district, an 8 cap. Same thing, $400 a month cash flow, $825 per month. The tenant just moved in like like I think 2 weeks ago. So with a 1 year lease, and as Garrett said, this is newly renovated. So definitely something that is worthwhile investing in. All right, so those are the properties. So now we have some time for Q&A. Do you guys have any questions? You can unmute yourself and then ask a question.
Hello?
Yeah. Who are you? What's your name?
Hey, it's Jerry.
Jerry. Hi, Jerry.
How you doing?
Good.
Jerry. Hey, quick question, Wendell. On 2 of the 4 cash flows, and I also texted you this, there was no debt service at all. Are you saying those are cash deals?
Yeah, well, actually, 3 out of 4, I did not put any debt service because usually what happens is getting mortgages on loans less than $50,000 is harder, or actually the interest rate is higher. I can get you a finance company that can finance below $50,000 mortgages, but they
Yeah.
do like 15-year mortgages or 20-year mortgages. So hence the cash flow will be less, but obviously the ROI will be higher because you're using leverage.
So only the first one was at 20% down, if I remember correctly. Is that correct?
That's right. But for the other 3, I use no financing. But yeah, but if you definitely use financing, you can find good lenders.
I'm back, by the way. I apologize. There's something going on with the Wi-Fi, so it keeps kicking me out.
Yep. All right. No, that's fine. We are in the Q&A portion now. So any other questions from the attendees?
Hey, Wendell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get you. This is Paul. I'm gonna get you a couple other of those. I got a couple multifamilies I got access to. I wasn't able to get them over to you, but I'll email those to you. Then you can, if people leave their email, if you got their email when they signed in, we can email them some other deals. 2 families and 3 family rental units that we can get over to them for a pretty good price.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be a probably 12 cap or higher.
Wow. That's pretty good. All right. Any other questions from the
Yeah, hey
audience?
Wendell.
Yes.
Hey, this is Kirk. I didn't catch, were these turnkey? Was there already management in place for these, or would that be something we need to sort out?
Yeah, these are all turnkey now, but in terms of management, Paul and Garrett have property managers that they can recommend to you.
Okay.
Okay. So, but in terms of the numbers, we factored in property management at 10% of gross collected rents. So, which
Right,
is
but
difficult.
management isn't in place at the moment. We need to sort that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Sure.
Hey, Wenzel,
Yes.
this is Joe. Do you have a website where I can see all of your other properties that are available?
I do have several websites, but for the deals that these guys have, we haven't put that in a website somewhere, but we can definitely send you the information of all of these properties
Okay.
via email.
Hello.
Yes, what's your name?
Yeah, hi, Wendell. This is Naveen.
Naveen, how are you?
Right, good, thanks. I've spoken to you before, and I do have property in Cincinnati, so I know the markets and familiar with the area. I am interested in the properties that you listed in the presentation today. I will take a look once I get the emails and do the analysis, and then get back. In the meanwhile, I also have a question for Garrett and Paul.
Sure.
if I'm interested in properties in Hyde Park and Oakley, and also near the Xavier University region. If there is anything in that area, I would be interested to look at it.
Okay, we can definitely find you something over there. Now you realize since you asked for those specific areas, those areas are what will be considered A or A plus areas in Cincinnati, and so the prices they're going to be higher.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so I just want to make sure you know that, and the cap rates would be lower also because the prices are going to be so much higher.
The appreciation will be greater though, and
right. Hopefully, yeah.
Are you looking to buy and hold over there, or is that just looking to buy and hold in those areas?
Yes, the properties I have in Forest Park and other parts of Cincinnati are buy and hold, and these areas that I'm looking at is also for, yes, buy and hold.
Okay. So single families, or are you looking for multi-families?
A good cash flow, fairly reasonably cash flow with appreciation. So it can be multifamilies. I haven't done any duplex or multifamilies yet. All my investments are single family till now, but I would like to explore and look at other options as well.
Okay. All right. We'll get all the the details from you later. So, but yeah, we'll definitely do that.
Sure. Be in touch. Thanks. That's about it from me.
You.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Hi, Wendell. It's Leo.
Hi, Leo.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
So I wanted to get an idea in terms of the multifamily market there in Cincinnati. I've been looking at some mid-sized apartment complexes in the area. 20 to 60 units. What's the market like over there for those types of properties? Is it good?
Paul and Garrett, you want to answer that? I mean, it's been a while since I bought my 100 plus unit apartment complex. So honestly, I haven't checked what the market is at right now, but I would assume it's very competitive, especially with what's going on with this big multi-family apartment complexes. So, but anyway, Paul and Garrett, do you have any comments?
Yeah, the market is a little tight for those right now.
Can you elaborate what you mean by tight?
That's yes, it's not that many of them on the market of late anyway. I've been looking for them as well, and there just haven't been that many of them out there. Now 10 to 20 units, there's been a little bit of those out there. Actually, I got access to one of those right now. It's an 11 unit with 2 storefronts for now it's vacant, and it's going to be about 115,000.
Okay. And is that a property that I'm assuming that would require some work before it would be able to be rent ready, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, once again, I was knocked out, and I didn't exactly hear the question. I just heard it was about multi-units. Could you repeat the question, Wendell, or was it answered?
It's for the so how's the market for the medium size multi units, like 20 to 60 units?
Okay, pretty much any and everything here is scorching red hot as far as rental property, whether it's single families or multi-units, even the larger multi-units. The properties that a lot of the ones we've been dealing with, which in particular we have a 13 unit right now that has a waiting list and always has had a waiting list to get into the building. So everything here, as far as a rental, it's difficult to find stuff for rent here. You have a commodity that everybody wants.
Right. How's turnover? I know for multifamilies it's challenging in some of the Midwest cities for the multifamilies compared to the single-family residences. Like, how's turnover for the multifamily properties?
Okay, now I would say that turnover is a direct correlation of the management and the management style of the building. Because just like the 13 I was talking about before, I mean, I think there's been just 2 new tenants within the last like 4 years. So if you get, if you can vet if you can vet them on the front end, as well as you can, a lot of times you can get people that stay in the buildings for a long time. So it's really about the management. The management is the key.
Yeah, and I'd like to add that unlike the typical Midwest, you know, cities in, let's say, Dayton, Ohio, or other parts of Ohio, wherein, yeah, they're cheap. You can buy them cheap, but then the economies in some of these cities in Ohio are not as good as Cincinnati. So what happens is you don't have a lot of sources of jobs, right? So rents are really low, and then you have a lot more turnover because a lot of these people are losing their jobs, right? So whereas in Cincinnati, as mentioned earlier, it's home to at least 10 Fortune 500 companies. More investments are coming, very low unemployment rate. So you have all the economics pointing to the fact that, right, that rents is increasing, and then occupancy is very high, because of the stable and booming economy that Cincinnati has. Does that make sense, Leo?
Right, right. No, yeah, it does. Yeah, thank you.
All right.
And that's
Okay. Would you be able to provide Garrett and Paul's contact information after the call so that I could touch base with them also outside
Okay,
of this
sure.
meeting?
Sure.
Yeah, and I just want to just add to that, because I do a lot of traveling, and Wendell is exactly right. When me and Paul talk about it all the time, we hear, if you're watching, especially now since we're in election season, people talking about, jobs and, there's not a lot of jobs and the economy is bad. We are in a complete bubble here of our own, because we see signs everywhere for people hiring. And I'm not talking about, $9 an hour jobs. I mean, these are, good jobs that, people can, really support their family on. We have more jobs than we have actual people here in the city. Those 10 Fortune 500 companies, it's not like they're here. Those 10 Fortune 500 companies are headquartered here. Kroger's is headquartered here. Macy's is headquartered here. Procter & Gamble is headquartered here. So there's more jobs here than there are actual people.
Great. Yep. Any other questions before we move on to the next steps? All right, so I guess no more questions. Thanks for the questions, guys. So the next steps in order for you to make massive cash flow in Cincinnati is step one. So this is the property list and summary in here, like at the bottom of the slide. Tennessee for sale for 90,000, cap rate of 11%. So that's the 4 units, and then we have 3 single-family homes. 2934 Kling, 1075 Benz, 9598 Amarillo. These are selling for basically 60,000, except for Benz selling for 65,000. But you get cash flow of basically over $400 per month. So if you're not pre-approved for a mortgage yet, or you're not buying all cash, contact my mortgage broker, Jeff Buck of Supreme Lending. They lend nationwide, basically. That's the phone number right there. Or you can email him, and that's the email address right there. But if you're approved for a mortgage, or you plan to buy all cash and then just do a cash out refi later on, you can send either your pre-approval letter or proof of funds. We will not accept those bogus proof of funds from gurus. Okay, so only bank statements or brokerage account statements are acceptable as proof of funds. Or you can send a pre-approval letter from your lender, $3,000 refundable deposit, okay, to our title company, Performance Title, there in Ohio, in Loveland, Ohio, to be exact. And your offer can have inspection and financing contingencies, so don't be afraid to submit the offer, because you can always back out if, based on your due diligence, the deal doesn't make sense to you. So that's step number one, is submit an offer. again, you guys have seen that over 20 plus people are listening to the call, and then I'm going to send out the recording of this as well to the others who haven't joined today. So you have a lot of competition. So if I were you, if you're really interested in these 4 properties, please submit an offer or offers as soon as possible. Okay, so that's step number 1. Um, Step number 2 is you can do your due diligence. So we're giving you 10 business days to do your due diligence. You can definitely send an inspector there. You check the rent roll, you get copies of the bills and review them. You can order the appraisal. You can start interviewing property management companies, and definitely, as I said, Paul and Garrett can recommend several good property managers. And then I strongly suggest, before you obviously close on the deal, is you visit Cincinnati and be familiar with the area. So drive around, understand, what is the west side, and really know the different sub-markets there. All right. So, it won't hurt my feelings if based on your due diligence, you're not comfortable with the deal. So it is where it is, so it's all about the numbers, right? And then lastly, line up your property management company. The closing will be at performance title. Take over the property, and then do it again and again and increase your cash flow. So I'm here to help you. Garrett and Paul are here to help you. To generate more cash flow, more passive income. And really take advantage of the great economics that Cincinnati offers, right? Because of the high employment rate, good economy, increasing rents, decreasing occupancy. So therefore, over the long run, you will get to build appreciation and wealth, and then cash flow, good cash flow for the meantime. So with that, thanks guys for listening in, and I will email to all of you the cash flow analyzers of these 4 properties that we've shown, as well as Garrett's and Paul's contact info, so you can contact them directly. But definitely, if you are interested in making offers, send me the offers, and then let's do a deal. Thanks. Bye now, and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.